Welcome back. This is Tim Harris. And of course, this is our world's greatest agent interview series. And I have a fantastic special guest for you, the amazing and powerful Kacie Anderson from Florida. So Kacie and I, prior to me hitting record, we were just talking about termites. So go ahead, Kacie.
Termites. I was raised in pest control. My dad used to be high up at Terminex, and then he left and started his own company. So I am like a unicorn when it comes to real estate, because not only can I do real estate, but I know all about pest control, mortgages, but my first bread and butter was pest control. So one of my duplexes has termites in it, and it's been on the market for 140 days, and it's on the water. It's a huge lot, but just needs to be renovated. So we finally get under contract, and we get termite swarmers last week, 3 days after being under contract. So of course you can understand my blood pressure's up here. So I was out treating the property myself. I'm going to show you a picture. This is insane.
That's full service right there.
Yeah, I called my dad. I was like, Dad, I need like the Mac Daddy like B&G sprayer, because there's termites everywhere. And it's like Florida. Like, do you get termites where you are, Tim?
You get termites everywhere. But in the warm states where there's no winter, the termites are always 10 times worse.
Oh yeah. So like they're pretty bad here right now. Like I don't know if anybody else is having problems with them, but they're literally everywhere. So this was me last week. Can you see this? Literally, wait, this gets better. This sucker was so heavy. Can you see all that treatment in there?
Yeah,
And I was in like 3-inch heels. But yeah, so anyways, I had to treat termites, and then thank the Lord I did it, because the next day we had a huge swarm again, like all these properties in the neighborhood that are on the water. And all these termites were dead, just like laying around my perimeter treatment. And everybody else was like, oh my gosh, they're flying around on all these houses. And I'm like looking around, I'm like, I did a really good treatment, because my clients are in Tampa right now. So, and the pest guy was like, I can't get out there for 3 weeks. I'm backed up. I'm like, Dad, call him the B&G sprayer. I'm doing it myself. So that's what I did.
yeah, there you go. That's a good story for when you go on a listing appointment.
Yeah.
Have that
So
be part of your marketing plan.
honestly though, like it kind of matters that you know what you're talking about with pest control, because I have to have a nice sound mind for the buyers coming in for this property that's been sitting on the market. And this is our last straw, so have to be prepared. And
Let me start out by reminding the listeners that are listening only on podcast. This is also on video, so if you wanted to watch it on YouTube, you can. So when she's referencing pictures and whatnot, if you want to watch, just watch over on YouTube. And also the audio quality, I know, is not our normal standard. It's because we're just doing it old school in a Zoom because it works. And there it is. So please forgive us for our little infractions with regards to those two issues. So Kacie, let's reel this back in. I'm looking at a dry erase board behind you, which has a lot of addresses, a lot of, what is that behind me? What am I looking at?
so you're looking at listings. Let me see if I can even move this. Listings, some under contract. I'm missing 12 from this board, believe it or not, but I'm so busy. So I just got a new board that just went up last week. So I need one of my girls that have better handwriting than me to write
Well, just so
extras.
I understand, those are all listings on the dry erase bureau, or are they listers and listings and buyers? They all are listings, aren't they?
Yeah, about 85% of them are listings, and I'm missing a ton of buyers stuff up there. Actually, 2 of them already closed. I didn't get to write it up on the board yet.
So those are your closed transactions so far. Now I'm looking a little more
So
carefully.
these are all pending right now.
Pending. Okay, got it. So where are all those listing leads coming from? Well, first of all, how long have you been in the real estate business? Like actually selling real estate?
August 22nd, 2022 is when I got my license. So this August will be 2 years.
Okay. And how many transactions have you done in 2 years?
Oh my gosh. Well, are you counting double ending?
Sure. Yeah, that's a side. So each deal has 2 sides.
I think like for me personally, like 38, maybe. I feel like that's less. I feel like I need to know my numbers better. I don't know. I feel like over at least 38, 30, 35
Well,
transactions.
how many are in the board, Kacie? How many are on the board behind you? Or some of those are with people that are working as part of your team,
For
right?
me personally, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The other ones, their names are the ones that I've given them. So
Got it.
12 are mine exclusively. And then the other ones are ones that I've given agents. So I'm just like, letting them steal the thunder, and I'm just kind of in the background for them, supporting them.
And you had the highest sale price. You had the highest sale. Was it in Deerfield Beach for 6
Yeah.
million? Yeah.
So highest sales price representing seller and buyer. And it was listed for 27 days, but 21 of those days, to my defense, were booked on Airbnb, so we couldn't show it. So really, we only had 6 days to show it total.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So let's talk about leads, because that's what everyone's going to want to know. Because you have had a tremendous amount of success prior to getting into real estate. You didn't come from a real estate family. I mean, I don't want to make assumptions, but there was nobody that was giving you, like, you didn't your uncle's not a builder and gave you 1,000 listings. So where are you getting your listings? Talk,
Um,
and Kacie, maybe swing around, just like look at the board and think, well, this one came from this one came from that.
yeah.
So
So really, a lot of my listings, the first one, I had an open house from a listing that I got from a referral. And then from that listing, we're super big on open houses and like nurturing the neighborhood with flyers and invitations for them to come see us, come see the open house, bring your coworker, your friend, your buyer, your sellers, whatever. And then we hit the pavement. Like, we send mailers, but we hit the pavement on Thursdays and Fridays, inviting them to our open houses on the weekend. And it's, people might cringe at that. It doesn't take that long if you actually total up the amount of work it takes hours wise. So from there, I was able to get the second listing on there from an open house. The third listing is a personal referral on our EXP network from Carrie Shull, which that's a $23 million listing. And the fourth one is from an expired listing that I called. And then I showed up. She didn't answer me, so I showed up at her house with like the cutest little packet. It's over here on the bench. I had this packet, and I literally, this is so embarrassing, but I go into CVS and there's like these like $6.99 orchids, and they're in these like big bags, and you have handles on them. They're super sturdy. So I go in there, I grab an orchid for my expires, and I take a little packet and I say, hey, here's how you can sell your home faster. And I just like left it at their door, and I pushed the Ring doorbell, and I left a message because she didn't answer my phone. So she called me back and was like, hey, I just got your Ring video. And then it prompted me to listen to the message you left me. So I want you to come sell my house. So that's how that happened. Open house lead. This is the fourth one I got from the sellers, just seeing our signs everywhere with balloons for open house. So then he hired me. This one, 1630, was a personal referral from an EXP agent in New York. Never met him, but he saw my Facebook and connected. Open house lead. Personal referral from Instagram. Referral from an agent who's an investor. He came into my open house out in Parkland, which was a $3 million listing. And he came in and he's like, I'm a realtor, I'm an investor, but I'm also a business owner. But I want to hang my license with you. I don't like selling. I don't like getting into the MLS, but I want you to sell my other properties out east near you in Deerfield. So that's where those two are from. And he met me from a Parkland open house that he was actually looking to buy for himself, for him and his family. So that's how that happened. Are you catching the theme here of where my leads are
Yeah,
coming?
well, I'm actually hashtagging where your sources of business
Yeah.
are, Kacie. And
Yeah.
like open houses definitely dominates everything that you're doing by far. I mean, in the order of things, it was open houses, then a referral. You got one expired. You haven't mentioned anything from your mailers, but so open houses kill. Let's drill down on open houses. So talk
Sure.
about doing open houses. Just walk us through your system, because you're obviously getting, so let me set it up so agents can have a clearer understanding of how not to work an open house. What may most agents do when they work in open houses, they're only, first of all, they're not actually trying to have proactive conversations with the folks walking in. Number two, they very rarely will find out if they have anything to sell. So they'll just assume they're a buyer and that's it. There's no listing that's associated with, this person walking in the door. So tell us about your system.
Yeah, so I think you're gonna laugh right now because it's like very detailed. So obviously now that we have all these agents and we are growing with more listings, we're able and have the manpower to do 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. open houses. So it's every Saturday and every Sunday for every single listing, unless the seller declines and says, I need a break from you guys. I'm tired of you being in my house. So we offer it from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Some agents will split it where one will work from 10 to 1 and the other one will work from 1 to 5. But I want to relate to the people that don't have big teams like me. So the people that are like me starting out and it's just one man show for these open houses, how do you offer so much time? Well, for us, I think 2-hour open houses are, is a joke. I'm like, you're missing such a major margin of people and families, whether they're at church, at brunch, kids, sporting events, whatever. 2 hours is not a long time for your sellers. And so, we already set the tone to have long open houses and offer that. Now in those open houses before Saturday and Sunday hit, we go out and door knock in the community on Thursday and Friday, and we invite the neighbors. We'll post on Facebook community groups like, hey, we're having an open house. We actually don't tell them the price. So we'll give them the address. We'll give them like all of the great things about the house. We don't mention the price, so it pushes them to ask questions. Because if on that flyer it gives them everything that they want, they don't need to reach out to us, right? So specifically on the flyers, we make it known where it's very desirable with the pictures and like what it offers without them actually knowing the price unless they look it up, obviously. But on Facebook, Thursdays and Fridays, we go in and we post on all the community groups, the neighborhood groups, like, hey guys, very, very like normal conversation, like, hey, it's Kacie. We're having an open house. It's a single family home, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. It's 1,900 square feet with a heated pool east of Federal, in one of the most sought after neighborhoods. And I leave out the price and I actually leave out the address on social because again, that forces people to message me and say, hey, can you send me the information on the house you just described that you're having this weekend? Because I have a friend that's moving in the area, or I have a girl that plays volleyball with my daughter. These are all real things that people say to me, and I want the information for it. So there's a prep that goes along that. We make these flyers. This is actually hot off the printer. And we make sure that we say same day showings in the info box. There's another set of flyers that are on that bench over there that says open house times during the week. And then on Thursday and Friday, we take those open house flyers out. And then we offer same day showings. So if they miss the open house, they know that they can call us same day on Monday through Friday. Does that make sense?
It does.
So
I've been writing notes, a whole bunch of other questions. I think I have an idea that you're gonna love. I'm anxious to share it with you, but I want to hear the rest.
Okay, I'm excited. So during the open house gets here, right? We always make sure you market the fact that you're having these times at least on Thursday or Friday. You need a full day of marketing, preferably before like Friday morning, so that way people know that you're having one. But then, so we get to the open house, right? We present. We have these like luxury folders. I'm gonna try to reach and grab one. We have these folders. That two points of this, because you don't want to piss off the other agents that are coming there that don't want your client to have your information. So these don't have my phone number on it. I have a little slot in here that has my business card and my mission statement, but it doesn't have my phone number in it. So I have 2 piles. And when the agents come in with their clients, I say, hey, this is an unbranded. My company logo is on here, but I don't have my information, none of my team's contact information in this pile for the agent out of respect, because I want the agent to love me, right? And feel respected by me and not step on their toes with their client. So that's one pile. The other pile is full of everything with the house. what we do, how we sell for top dollar, the things that we offer to our sellers, our business cards right here for that little slot. And then just we call it a scouting report. So we're like, hey, here's a scouting report of everything else on the market. Here's why ours is better because we're priced here. We offer this, blah, blah, blah. And so we don't really say why ours are better, but you know what I mean? We try to show you like why we're at the price point that we're at. So we offer both piles to people when they come in, and we generate not only business, and people are like, wow, like, even if they didn't like the house, we're like, listen, here is an option where if you want to see more of our listings, or if you're in a different price point, here's other opportunities, and we can get you into those listings today. So we offer same day showing. We need at least 40 minutes of a heads up. And they're like, really? I'm like, really? So that excites people. And we have them sign in when they come in. So when they come in, obviously, if they're with an agent, we just say, hey, respect your agent. Don't give your information unless you want to. But if you can sign in, if you have an agent, let us know who it is. We'll contact them. On Sunday at 5, we do a raffle. So please, this is literally what I say to clients. Don't write a bunch of chicken scratch where I can't see it, because if you win my $100 Whole Foods gift card, I won't know to call you, Mrs. Jones, if I can't read your phone number and your email. So that way I have a legible email, a legible phone number when they sign in, no pressure. We had people do the whole computer thing with KB Core and signing in through that, but technology and hotspots and all that stuff, and you're walking one client's coming in, you're not going to leave one client's to go hurry up and open up your computer to let them sign in. So I find that the sign-in sheet's the best, offering a raffle or a gift card for a raffle the next day. So from there, lots of eyeballs on the property, and most people need to know that selling those listings, 50% of our listings sell from open houses. So the open houses don't actually sell our listings like we would want them to. It is more so the powerhouse that's generating all of our leads to create more listings and more buyer leads for our agents.
So that's the whole bunch of things. And like I said, I was writing down notes, but a whole bunch of things. First of all, the leads that you're generating, you're not paying referral fees for. So you're not buying leads from Zillow. The leads you're getting, and I'm looking at your board behind you, it looks to me your average sale price is probably between 500,000 and 600,000, I'm guessing. So you're dealing with a fair number of people that are moving up from maybe another property or buying, they're going to have
I'd say
houses.
little higher than that, probably like above 700,000.
So you have folks that are walking into your open houses that almost always are going to have properties that they're thinking about selling.
Correct.
And and even though it's an open house and you're there to market the house, the mindset that you're really on a pre-listing appointment, that's truly how you're actually approaching this. You're trying to essentially show the prospective sellers what you can do to actually do, when you are hired by them. So mindset shift, I hope that hopefully everyone's taking away, is that an open house is obviously to sell the house, but it really is to meet the neighbors and ideally pick up the listings because they're going to like you. Well, there's a statistic, Kacie, that says most people work with like 90% of all buyers or sellers work with the same age of the first agent that they meet. And the best leads are always coming through open houses. The least qualified leads are the ones that are coming from the internet. Because by the time someone starts driving around in a neighborhood and meets you at an open house, they've already decided what their neighborhood is, what their price point is. They already have made some pre-qualifications and they are just now looking for an agent to work with. So it is funny to me that agents, especially new agents, which you're no longer a new agent, but I'm sure you clearly remember how tempting it was to buy business and you didn't buy business. You went out and earned your business. Where'd that approach come from, by the way? Because you're 30 and that definitely you're in the social media, I have to buy my business, age bracket, but you didn't do it. Why not?
So I used to be in the mortgage industry, and so we would pay for leads for agents. And even when I was in mortgages, I would be sitting in open houses observing the agents, and I would be offering my services on the mortgage side. And I'm very creative, but I just remember a couple of things that have transformed my business from observing. When I would come to these open houses, I would see like 2 really sad signs. I'm like, okay, I think this is where it is. Like, thank God for Google because I would have never found this open house. And then the other thing is I would go into these open houses and listen to the agents sell themselves. And I remember telling them like, hey, like, yes, your job is to sell this house. And as somebody that's supporting you in the mortgage industry, like my job is to convert these buyers to get them pre-approved and to even buy this house and make it exciting. But your focus is here just on the house and you're not here on the longevity of your business, of all the people and foot traffic that you're getting in. So two things I took away from that. Obviously, I changed how we present at open houses, but more than that, we have about 20 to 30 open house signs per house. Okay, 230 signs per open house, and every sign has a silver shiny balloon tied to it. So even if you're not buying a house, you're nothing but forced to come into my open house and talk to me because you don't know what else to do with you. All the signs, there's signs everywhere pushing you to come to my open house. And so I've trained my team. My team has done a beautiful job of implementing that to all of their open houses. So people come in and presentations, everything. Like you can have everything nice and pretty on the inside. You can have a good candle going, cookies in the oven, all that good stuff. But that doesn't matter if you're not pushing it to every single major street known to mankind to get people in the door for you. And the signs in the ground, right? They keep you top of mind in the neighborhood of all the people going in and out from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's a long time to have your signs out and for people to see them. So that's kind of like where it started, for me to just start with like, how do I get more creative? How do I stand out? How do I have more people see that I'm here and that I'm here for a long time, and that I'm dedicated? And so we also make sure that the people know that we're there for a long time. And what I forgot to say to you is when we leave the open house, I take a video of myself and I say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, it's Kacie. I'm here at 491 Southeast, 19th Ave. Thank you so much for coming to my open house today. I hope you guys got safely home and you're going to enjoy your dinner tonight. I'm just wrapping up now, right? And I don't send this till after 5. So I'm just now wrapping up now. If you have any questions, this is my direct cell phone number. You can text me or call me anytime. You get me. You don't get a VA. You don't get any of that. You get me directly. And if you want to see the house again tomorrow or anytime this week, just shoot me a message, or of course, anything else in the neighborhood, I'm happy to show you. People go berserk over my videos when I send that. I mean, they go berserk.
Well, imagine, Kacie, imagine if that's a seller, right? So the seller, who maybe they were going to work with the agent that sold them the house originally, 10 years ago, but that agent hardly ever follows up with them, calls them 2 days later. And here you are showing this furiously fast lead follow-up and being all over for, someone you just met at an open house. Guys, that's the thing that I hope everyone should understand. Furiously fast lead follow-up, having energy and enthusiasm, just showing sincere interest in people and helping folks. That's going to win the day. If you can have the best skills, the best marketing, the best branding, but if you don't have like what Kacie clearly has, which is hustle, you're not gonna ever win. Really, you're just not. I mean, maybe you'll list some, or you'll end up having to buy your leads, and you'll wonder why somebody who doesn't buy leads like Kacie's getting a lot of business. It's the simple things that make all the difference.
Yeah.
Kacie, I have an idea for you on the open house thing. Okay.
No, I'm excited. I feel like I need to write this down. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I mean, you're already doing like 90% of it, but maybe you're even doing this, you just didn't mention it. So when Julie and I sold real estate, we typically had between 20 and 30 listings, and we had a concentration of listings in one particular area, which you do as well. And so what we did is the Harris tour of homes. And so we had, corrugated plastic, double-sided signs made, and we'd put those out, and each, just like you're doing, each open house would be for an hour. And it would be open, open 1 to 4, open, open 1 to 2, open to, and then there would be a flyer that would say, and we give it all the neighbors, and we had 7 buyers agents, and each of them, they'd, move around to each open house. And so it was a tour of homes. And so we would have like 10 houses or 15 houses open in the same day. But really what we were doing is the same thing as what you're thinking, is we wanted to absolutely, saturate that market with Tim and Julie Harris tour of homes, open house, open house, open house, because it's the hustle. That's what sellers truly want. They want to see that you're not just going to stick it in the MLS and wait for somebody else to sell it. And that really, it worked to the point where other agents started to steal our signs. That's when
Um,
you,
I've had my signs stolen. I've had food thrown at my signs, like, but you know, it's like, again, it's just a pure indication of you're out hustling and you know, you're showing up. So that's a good idea. And I will say, like, we'll definitely implement that. One thing we do that's a little bit similar is we have a listing of all of our houses that are actively doing an open house in the area in those folders. So when we give it to them, like, hey, my other agents are at these other houses, different price points, but if you want to check them out, there's names of who's who and who's working them. So we try to push each other to like all of our other open houses too.
well, but
But
that's the thing. You're going to give them a flyer and you're going to do these every weekend. And you're going to be known for doing the Kacie Anderson tour of homes every single weekend in these particular communities. You're going to have a flyer. You're going to have 6 houses open with the exact amount of time that they're open. And so
Mhm.
what people will do is they'll show up at your first open house that starts at say 11 a.m. And then
Right.
what they're going to go from one to the other, the other. You're going to see, you know, your agents will be able to say, you know, Bob and Sally are coming your way. They're looking for a 4-bedroom. This was just a 3-bedroom. And
Right.
the impression that's going to leave on the community is, again, something like nobody else does.
Yeah.
I got another little a snippet for you. You should write this one down and check it out at 1-800-HOME-HOTLINE.com. And this technology has been around forever. And here's the gist of it.
Mhm.
So for free this should be on all your signs. Okay. So for free 24-hour record info on this house, and then you'd have your own 800 number. I'll just make it up. 1-800-555-1212.
Okay.
Each listing would have its own extension, 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's how it works. And I want you to think about this from a buyer's perspective. Then I want you to think about this as if you are on a listing appointment. So from a
Okay.
buyer's perspective, they're going to be, my mind always goes to chasing listings. So I have to tune my tuning fork to
Right.
working with. So the buyer is parked in front of the sign. The buyer wants information on the house. They're going to call the 800 number. And people have tried to, you know, use different, you know, QWR codes and all the rest of it, but nothing works as good as people calling a number. So
Mhm.
anytime someone calls a number where it's you know, 800, 888, any sort of toll number, you're going to get the phone number. So they're going to call. And so I'm parked in front of the sign. I'm interested in this new listing. I'm going to call your number. I'm going to put this extension in. Each listing has its own extension. And I'm going to put in extension 1, 2, 3, 4. And the recording is going to be really simple. Hey, this is Kacie Anderson. Thank you for calling about 123 Elm Street. This is a, you know, 3-bedroom for whatever, not too much information. And the house is currently offered in the, you know, mid 700s price range. So you're going to
Mhm.
say mid 700s because, again, to your point, you don't necessarily want to give a price. Frankly, you might change the price. You don't have to do the recording again. To
Right.
schedule your own private tour, press 0 now. Or for a complete list of homes for sale, you know, whatever, give them directions of what to do. Now, very few of them will press 0, but here's what happens. You'll get an SMS within milliseconds after they hang up, and the system will tell you their name, their phone number, and what extension they just dialed. So you're then going to call them back. Yeah, I knew you'd like that. So you're going to call them back and you're going to say, hey, this is Kacie Anderson. I saw you as a courtesy when people call our 800 number. We like to give them a quick call back to see if you have any questions about the home they called about. And here's what you're going to experience. See, I get excited about this because I remember when Julie and I did this, we sold so many houses this way.
That's super smart.
Yeah, well, do it. It's cheap. It's only $35 a month, and that's the
Yeah.
total amount. Right. So then they're gonna say, well, first of all, they're not gonna say anything. They're gonna say like they're not gonna believe it's really a person calling them back. And then they're gonna say, well, is that house still available? Let me check to see if that house is still available. I'm pretty sure it is. By the way, which house in the neighborhood are you thinking about selling? Right. So I'm gonna go right to finding out if they're a neighbor because usually they are. And that's
Right.
how your listing conversation started. So
That's super
if
smart.
you're having any form of coming soon signs, attach it to an 800 home hotline, you know, phone number, and you're going to increase your lead flow for free by probably 10 or 20x, depending on the market.
That's
And
super.
on the flyer for your Kacie Anderson tour of homes, have the same thing. You know, you're going to have your 6 houses, little colorful pictures, very brief descriptions, and then direct them to call for the more information because then you can lead capture off the flyers too. And off the actual signs that you have in people's yards,
Mhm.
have the flyer, have it be two-sided. On one side is the flyer for the actual house, and
Mhm.
then always have them direct them to call the 800 number because you'll lead capture more frequently. And on the back, put the other houses that you have for sale in the community. And each of those is a very brief description and then directing them to call the, you know, their unique 800 number. Again, what it is, well, so why would someone want to call the 800 number? Because as pleasant and charming as you are, they don't want to necessarily talk with you. They just want the information. And so
Right.
if they feel like they can get the information passively and just move on, that's what they're going to do. So if you
Yeah.
were to add that to what you're already doing, you're going to increase basically your free lead flow by a ton.
No, I love that. I
Now,
did.
how
I'm
would you
gonna.
use that on a listing appointment? How can you see how you'd use that?
Oh yeah. No, I mean,
Right?
I think sellers would love that. It's just
They
like
would.
being able to capture interest and, and something else that I really love, and it's so cheesy. Um, I still think people love tradition, right? And the traditional open house or for sale sign is what? What does it look like?
A square, big rectangle.
Red and white, right?
Yeah.
So I have two of them sitting right here in my office. I will write on a weekend. I won't put the address, but I'll go stick it in a median and one of the crazy stoplights off Atlantic to the beach. And I'll write 4 bedroom, 3 bath, on the water, dock, you know, phone number, nothing else. And I feel like we should attach that 800 number, but I get so many calls and I'm able to convert these calls and send them out to my agents and I immediately save it in my follow-up also on my phone. So that way I'm boom, it's saved, done. But again, it does take away from me time of talking to these people and giving them different opportunities. But when you have it in such a category of 4 bedrooms, 3 baths on the water, I'm not just marketing my listing anymore. What am I marketing? I'm marketing everything that's available that you just call me and that you're interested in, right? So typically the people that take time to sit at the stoplight and they have interest or they see those little, you know, red and white open house signs or for sale signs that are unbranded, they're less likely to correlate you with a bad experience they had with another agent, right? And they think, it's kind of like a safer zone because they don't know who they're calling. They don't know if it's a bad, experience they had with a Remax or whatever. So, I've gotten a lot of leads from that just directly to my phone, or I'll get people taking a picture of the sign and texting me the sign, say, can I have more info on this? And
Have you seen those We Buy Ugly Houses signs? Do you guys have those? Is that okay?
we
Well,
don't, they're everywhere though.
right. So those guys are mostly wholesalers. And so what they do is they generate the leads and then they flip those opportunities to basically the flippers and whatnot. But
Yeah,
so call those We Buy Ugly, call those guys that are running those signs and running those ads, because for every 10 people that call, 9 of them are going to say, I'm not interested in taking your wholesale offer. But those are 9 listing leads that you could be chasing down that those wholesalers aren't going to do anything with. You
that's
follow?
yeah, that's true. I
What do
should
you, what do your
get
for sale signs look like? Are you in your market? Are you zoned out of doing for sale signs, or are you allowed to do for sale signs everywhere?
No, we do for sale signs everywhere. Like, are you talking about the ones that are actually in the ground, or are you
Yes,
talking
ma'am.
about
No,
just
in the yards, in the yards.
like this is my termite picture, but if I zoom in just in the background of this picture,
Oh, I've seen your signs. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So
And
I'm
then
going
with
to get,
info boxes on them.
I'm going to share with you, by the way, the hot pink thing, the jacket you've got on, that is an absolutely killer marketing idea. It
All
just
my
is.
so much stuff is pink, and I try to wear it during my open houses. I try to wear pink all the time.
Yeah. Well, it's very memorable. And that's almost like a bright, like it's not just normal pink either.
Yeah, this is like I'm gonna sell your house pink.
You're going to pay attention to me, Pink. All
Yeah.
right, so I got another little idea for you.
Okay.
Again, it's mostly a listing tool, call it what you want, but a reflective real estate sign.
Mm-hmm.
So your signs now, so there's a company called, I think it's still called Reflective Real Estate.
Okay.
And basically what it is a same company that makes stop signs, normal street signs. So imagine driving down the street, Kacie, at night, and your headlights hit the sign and the sign just glows and you can't even see what the hell the sign is until you're close to it. Make
Right.
all your for sale signs reflective real estate signs. And then if you're on a street that's dark and, obviously that's going to be something that's really grab people's attention. So I'm going to give you another idea.
Yeah.
Your sign in your post is the sign size that the local sign company makes, and they have 16 billion of them. I guarantee you that in your marketplace, you could do a sign that's probably at least 50%, if not 100% larger. You
Yeah.
follow? So
Yeah.
the sign companies will make, manufacture a whole bunch of posts and a whole bunch of, inserts and the rest of it. And that's all they sell. But I bet you your zoning allows you to have a sign that's substantially larger. So again, you got to think about how you're going to get it installed, and you're going to have to find some guy with a pickup truck, the whole 9 yards. But
My husband installs all my signs for me same day.
okay. So this is
If you guys
easy.
don't have husbands, go get one. I'm just kidding.
So get whether it's reflective or not, find out from zoning what the largest for sale sign is that you're allowed to have in somebody's yard, and to get reflective signs. And the reflective signs are metal and they don't fade, so they'll
Right.
last longer. And if someone draws a mustache on you, it wipes right off. It's
Oh,
literally the
that's
same. Yeah.
super durable. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that. One of my agents just invested in like these solar lights for her signs, and she just got a $2.4 million listing in Bayview in Fort Lauderdale. And it's this big corner lot. It's beautiful. And she put these solar lights in it too. They look so good. So that's something too. I wonder, I don't know if you guys do that.
The only thing with you, like during storm season, which you're about to be in, there's not going to be much chance for those solar lights to stay attached. But
Yeah.
the reflective widgets probably is as good, if not a better idea, and it's less perishable. Or maybe both.
So I'm definitely gonna do it. But yeah, we buy our own posts now too from Amazon, the 6 foot ones. Because the wood ones just not doing it for us. And we're paying, we're renting these posts from these companies. It takes them like literally 5 to 7 days to go get our posts in the ground. And I'm like, we need this today. Like my personality is like, it's today. Like they signed listing agreement, it's today. And so we just bought all our own post off Amazon, and it's been great. So
Yeah, you have to do that eventually. As soon as you're taking as many listings as you are. Let's actually pivot back and talk about the listings. I wrote down a bunch of things, but specifically, when you were a new agent with no prior real estate background other than mortgages, right? And you're going on a listing appointment. Now, obviously, you have great energy and enthusiasm, and you have your Kacie charms. But why was a seller choosing to list with you versus a more experienced agent?
yeah, I really start my conversations with what their why is, and I want them to be, the word is invested. So they're not going to want to sit down with a 3, 4 agents and get this invested in their why and talk about what their next step is, right? So like you really have to like shut up, let them talk, right? Like hear why is it they're selling? What's the motive? What's the next step? What's it going to take to get there? Who's involved? And then they start talking about their family, they're this, they're that. So my first step of why they would choose me is I'm listening, right? I write down really key details, the names of their kids, the names of their pets, the state that they're going to, like all those things. And I in front of them write it down, or I type it. I think writing is a little bit more respectful than just typing on a computer because it seems too corporate. So I like take notes in front of their face. When they let me talk and I take the mic, I say, listen, I'm not like any other agent that you're ever going to meet. Okay. I love making money, but my objective in this is to get your home sold, and I need your endorsement. So you're not a address and a transaction and a number of how much I'm going to make on commission on you. Like my objective in this entire transaction is to get you the best experience, to get you what you want, which is top dollar, and to make it seamless and stress-free. So when you hire me, not only do you get me, you get all of my team, right? You get collectively 6 different language that my group speaks. So if someone comes in, we don't understand, somebody is bound to know and steps in quickly. So here in Florida, you have to worry about that, right? Because there's such a mixed blend of so many different nationalities in here. The other thing that when you hire me is, again, I'm chasing your endorsement, not your wallet. So I'm not going to ask you to pay for listing photos. I'm not going to ask you to pay for marketing. I'm not going to ask blah, blah, blah. Like I just say it to them, even though most agents should pay for it. I just tell them like, I'm taking the brunt of it. I'm taking the risk, and I'm okay to bet on myself for you because I believe that I can sell this and make sure that you have a great experience. With that, while all of those things are good and helpful, I also give them pure stats. I tell them, hey, listen, I'm sure you're gonna have agents come in here and say that they can sell your house for 1.7 million, even though it's worth 1.5, like listing price wise. They wanna dangle something in front of you, get you excited, thinking they're gonna do X, Y, and Z, when in reality, Mrs. Jones, here's the stats, okay? I can list your home for 1.7 million. Cool. I could also waste my time and waste your time, and you could pay for 2 more or 3 more mortgage payments from sitting on the market for too long. And then at the same time stressing about when should you pack, when should you start putting boxes in pods because you don't know if your house is going to sell. So I can do that. So immediately I associate, like, anybody can give you a shiny number just to steal your listing. Then you have agents where they're going to give you the lowest number because they want to make a quick sale and they want a quick check. I'm not that agent either. I don't need the money right now. I'm good. Okay. I balance my work life. I know what I'm doing, and I'm frugal. So I'm not here to make a quick check, and I'm not also here to waste your time and spend 2 more mortgage payments you didn't need to spend. I literally say this to them. So they're literally like immediately thinking, okay, because I know no agent's going to say that to them. No one's going to verbalize that. And that's just to my listing appointments. To the for sale by owners, if you're trying to get a listing for sale by owner, completely different conversation. I literally am like, hey, listen, I'm sure you're getting bombarded by 500 agents right now, and all of them are going to call you, and this is what's going to happen. And I open my computer up, I go to Zillow, and I show them the tab of where, I'm talking about, where it says for sale by owners. And like, the only people that know how to find your house are realtors that want to call you and bring you a fake buyer. Okay. They're going to call you and they're going to say, Mr. Rob, listen, saw your house, you're listing by yourself. I would love to meet you. Are you going to be at the property? I might have a buyer for you. Okay. Well, Mr. Rob, that person's going to come here. They're going to pitch you the world. They're going to pitch themselves, and they're not going to have a buyer. They just wanted to waste your time and talk about how good they are as a realtor. Okay. I just state the facts of what's going to happen. And these fSBOs are like, yeah, you should see my phone. It's ridiculous. And all these people come out and they don't really have a buyer. They say they're going to FaceTime them, and then they call me back and ask to list it. And I'm like, yeah, that's what's going to happen. So you can waste your time doing that, but I'm just telling you, like, you're literally wasting your time going on Zillow, just doing it for sale by owner, when the only people that are going to call you are realtors. Here, let me show you the system of what happens. They're like, mind's blown. Like, you're so right. This is crazy. I'm like, yeah. So like, what are you waiting for? Like, why don't you just let me field all your phone calls for you? This is about commission. And, well, I hate realtors, blah, blah. Me too. I work with them all day long. They are horrible people, some of them, and some of them are amazing. But I understand, and I can agree. And I'm not going to sit here and try to trick you and bring a buyer and do this. I'm just telling you, like, you're just going to spin your wheels right now. Those people.
Can I give you a script? Okay. So you're the fSBO. This is, you don't lead with this, but this is the gist of what you just said, right? And I'm going to consolidate it. So listen, you remember you're the fSBO. I'm Kacie.
Okay.
Let me get my pink jacket. All right.
Yeah.
So listen, Kacie, I want to start out by saying, this might surprise you, but the fact is you've done a fantastic job marketing your house. I think you have it, in a great condition, great location. There's really no reason, from what I'm seeing, that you can't sell this house yourself. You've done a terrific job. You really have. And maybe I shouldn't be, saying this, but I think you're going to be successful selling the house yourself. And, yeah, no doubt in my mind. Now, you want to start out by saying that because you want to give them, you don't want to be adversarial to them, because most agents are adversarial. They're going to hit them with statistics. Did you know the average for sale by owner sells for this much less? All agents say basically the same thing when they're going after fSBOs. But here's the pivot. But Mr. Seller, let me ask you a quick question. If I pop by with a buyer that wants to close her on your schedule, a buyer that has no issues with the appraisal, no issues with the home inspection, no issues whatsoever, and you're always in complete control, and all the closing dates work out the same. In other words, this is the buyer you've been hoping for. And there's the best part, Kacie. The check I hand you at closing, or the title company hands you at closing, is the same, if not significantly more, than you'll be able to get selling it yourself. And I take care of all the hassle, all the legal responsibility, all the everything that goes into selling a house. And you make the same, if not more. In other words, you have your cake and you get to eat it too. Why wouldn't you list the house with me?
I love that.
And here's what they say. Here's what they always say. They'll say, well, I would if you could show me that you would do that. And then that leads into your listing presentation.
That's freaking awesome. I love that.
So Julie and I, in our first year in the business, sold over 100 homes per year, and there were probably, it was probably 75% listings, and they were almost all for sale by owners. And that's what I said. And I would go knocking on their doors too. And
Yeah,
they'd always say the same thing. They'd always say, well, if you could show me. So a mindset thing is most FSBOs are only FSBOing because they don't know an agent.
right.
And so the mindset is of a FSBO sign is just a help wanted sign. And if you, and really, I'll tell you a little Jedi mind trick with this too. Almost always, if they're married, it's the husband that wants to do the FSBO and he's trying to prove to his wife he can do it. So if you
Right.
can deliver the line you're smiling because I know you've had this experiences. If you can deliver the line I just gave you in front of both spouses where you're saying, there's no doubt you did a fantastic job and you're giving them all this praise, he's going to get what he wanted, which is validation from the world and his wife's going to be proud of him. Good job, Hank, the whole thing. And then he'll move past that emotional thing he had about trying to sell it himself, because there's really no rational reason for him to want to sell it. And
Right.
then the pivot is, well, if you're just basically going to delegate it to me and I'm going to take all the crap off your desk and I'm going to do all the work for you, and you win maybe the same level, but probably statistically significantly more. That's the knockout punch.
Yeah. And I think taking what you just said, and in this day and age, like all the FSBOs, like they're putting their cell phone number on there. Send the video of you saying that. Force them to not hear you on the phone. Force them to watch the video. My FSBOs, like if they don't answer my call, I don't send them a text. I just send them a video. So they're forced to watch it. And they always,
I agree. I agree, but nothing's going to beat an actual, even a low skilled agent has energy and enthusiasm, can go and knock on a door. And the second level up from that is voice to voice. It's 100 times harder for anyone to be even the slightest bit rude to you when it's face to face, just because, and you can read people, a lot of, differing levels of intuition, but you'll be able to read the person you're talking to and they'll be able to read you, and you're going to have a bond with them. And for sale by owners in particular, listeners, just take my word for it. They're FSBOing because they don't know another agent. It's not because they're agent haters. And even if they are, which is 1 in 100, you're still going to say, well, listen, the check I'll hand you at closing, da, da, da. And the expired script is an iteration of that too, and it works the same way. So I had a question. It
yeah,
sounds to me like what you said, you're not pre-qualifying listing appointments before you're going out.
no.
Okay, so after this, I'm going to send you my seller pre-qualification script,
Yeah.
because the questions that you're asking, how would it be advantageous to you to know those answers before you actually show up at their door? Like if you knew what their motivation was,
Yeah.
Kacie, if you
Mhm.
knew where you're competing, if you knew what they thought the price was, you know,
Mhm.
like you got to know all that stuff before you walk in. Because if you're having to do any sort of, you know, verbal fisticuffs with them at the listing appointment, it creates tension, which sellers hate. Does that
Right.
make sense?
No, I
Yeah.
think that's important for sure. I feel like the last couple of times that I've asked, well, what price point are you? Well, I don't know. That's why I want you to come out. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So
You got to
sometimes
do
when
it. Let
Mhm.
me give you the pre-qual question. So knowing what they think the house is worth, before you're going on, the saying that we have is don't go if you don't know. Like don't go on a listing appointment until you know all the specific things. You want to know what their time frame is, what their motivation is. You want to know if you're competing. Ideally, you want to know who you're competing against, and you're becoming successful enough that you're going to find yourself competing against the same other, top agents in your marketplace. So you're going to know who you're competing against all the time.
right,
But what also is important is you want to know what they think the house is worth. And you can't ask it directly. You're almost asking it to the point where they feel like you're confrontational with them. So the
right,
way to ask is, so listen, in preparation for our appointment tomorrow, I'm going to be spending quite a bit of time creating what is basically a, real estate agent's version of an appraisal. Not an appraisal, but it's called a CMA. And so part of the CMA is I'm going to be pulling out the comparable sold properties that I think are similar to your properties. So, help me do that. So you've maybe gone through some open houses of your neighbors' houses, or maybe you remember when they're for sale before, you went to a Christmas party or whatever. What houses have you seen sell in the last 6 months that you thought were most like your house? And then they're going to tell you, and then they're going to tell you what they're using in their heads as comps.
that's
100%
super
of the time.
smart and
Yeah,
very like non-aggressive at all. I feel like that's really good.
totally. Exactly. Oh, the house down the way that the Joneses sold. Okay, great. Well, how did you feel that house was similar to yours? Well, it had a pool, it was 4 bedrooms, and then you're pulling out their thinking, and then they're going to maybe give you 2 or 3 more comps, because there is not a motivated seller on planet Earth who's not already come up with their own damn price, right? They already have an idea. And if they don't want to tell you, if they don't want to play ball and don't want to give you any comps, it's not because they haven't done the homework. It's because they know what their opinion is over market value, and they don't want to tell you. I know
Yeah.
it's crazy, but that's true.
No, I
Um,
believe it.
and so
Especially
they
here,
get,
so many
yeah,
first buy owners. There's so many, like hundreds. And
yeah.
so I think all these things are so important, like for people to take um and really execute on, because I think they would be successful with that approach.
So Kacie, just so that I'm clear, once this property sells, where were you going next? Always ask that question.
Mhm.
Kacie, would it be a problem if I popped by with a buyer that wanted to purchase your house? This is in the pre-qual, right? And they wanted to close the next 30 days. Would that create a problem for you? Because you got
Yeah,
to find out what their motivation is. That's the main thing. Because if
sure.
you find out that they're not motivated, like if I can sell the house for some ridiculous number, I mean, maybe you don't even go on the appointment, right? That's not a real seller.
Right.
But when the seller, Mr. Seller, just so that I'm clear, do you have to sell this house or do you want to sell this house? Really drill down. That's the Kacie, you're getting the appointments because you're doing so much great work ahead of time to make these sellers love and trust you. And then if you pre-qualify them prior to going on the appointment, your whole listing appointment will take maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah, which I need, because that's the one thing too. It's like the amount of time and energy that we're investing in these it's a lot. So I definitely think less time, even if it means more time in your prep work, so less time in person and taking, you know, your physical presence, then the better.
You've also got a very interesting confidence about you that's unusual for somebody your age I mean, you really do. You come off as somebody that like has been in the business for a very long time. So I don't know if that's something you recognize, but that's probably a lot of other, and you're direct too. Your directness sometimes I imagine gets you in trouble, doesn't it? Are you over
Oh,
direct sometimes?
yeah. I mean, but I warn people up front. I usually say, do you like the truth or do you like fluff? And they're like, they always say the truth, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give you lots of truth, but with love and no fluff allowed. And same goes for you. I don't entertain fluff conversations, like just shoot straight with me. Like let's just verbalize our expectations of each other and let's just do that. Like that's typically what I say to my clients, because I'm like, I don't want to waste time. And if you want something and if you're looking for something specific, an outcome, I need you to verbalize it so I know, because I'm not a mind reader. I have good discernment, but I need you to verbalize exactly your expectations and what you need and want, so I can make that happen, because that's my goal. So I do think being direct, blunt, but at the same time, loving and not too aggressive is always the approach. And then that transforms other agents that I'm doing deals with that end up coming over here and want to work with us, because they can appreciate that even in the transaction. So
You're
no
a
trip.
sheepdog. You're a sheepdog. This is a story I told Zoe, our daughter, last night. By the way, let me give you a little script before I tell you my little story. All right, so this is a coaching script, but it works with sellers too. So Kacie, do I have permission to be completely direct and honest with you, even if what I say might seem slightly, I don't know, maybe even offensive? Do I have permission to be super direct with you? Is that your expectation of me? And they're
Yeah,
always going to say yes. And then when you say it that way, then that's going to give, that's different. That's changing the nature of the conversation.
I love
So
that.
sheepdog. So I was talking to Zoe and she's 10 and she has this tendency to know, and she's in the fourth grade. And so she knows what's going on at all the kids in her classroom. You have a little boy, right?
Yeah, I
And
have
a
a
dog.
7-year-old and a 4-year-old.
That's right. So you could tell them the story too. So Zoe sometimes gets in trouble because she knows what she's trying to take care of all the kids in her classroom. So she'll know what's going on at this table, this table, this table. This kid's got this problem. This kid's got this problem. And I asked her about that before, and she goes, "Well, I just feel like I should take care of everyone, know what's going on." And I told her the sheepdog story. And so basically, I said, "Zoe, in life, there's sheepdog, and then there's sheep." I said, "You're clearly a sheepdog, and you are too, right? That's the quality you have. You naturally attract people to you to want to do business with you, but you're also attracting, as part of your EXP team, all these agents that want to essentially, be motivated by you.
Yeah,
And there's innate qualities that really successful people have, that they underestimate when they're young and overestimate when they get older, right? because if you can't take the innate qualities that somebody like you has and back it up with wisdom and skill, then it's not enough. And
Right.
you're backing it up with wisdom and skill, which is, and I mean, you're always listening, you're always reading, you're always paying attention, you're always asking questions. I mean, I'm thrilled to be, partners with you at DXP. Honestly, it's so much fun seeing. I met you originally a year ago, and you had the same confidence, overly direct, but it was all good. And to see where you're going in your career is
Like I
amazing.
have to like apologize
No,
because
don't,
correct
don't,
now.
don't. Just, nerf it up a little bit. So, people hire me, this is you talking to a seller. So people choose to list their homes with me because they like the fact that I'm direct and honest, even though sometimes what I say is maybe from the outside might seem a little bit uncaring. The truth is I do care. And I don't want you guys to get hurt by not selling the house in the shortest period of time, with the least amount of hassle for the most amount of money. So when I'm giving you suggestions, please remember that my goal is what your goal is, kind of thing. Right.
And I just think like internally, like, we're all trying to make money, we're all trying to be successful. But I really believe like if you are internally right, and you are having genuine intentions for your clients and agents, I always think like you're gonna get blessed like times 10 back when you are honest up front and just, authentic. And so for me, it's worked out great. And I lose some sellers or buyers because they want one thing and I'm saying another. And I'm like, hey, listen, like at the end of the day, like I don't want to waste your time. And I also don't want to waste my time and my money and effort because I put a lot into it. And so respectfully, like, this is where I would go. And so the two times that I lost someone, they both came back. They both came back and they went with a different agent and they came back. And so I think that's always cool. Like it stings at first, like when someone doesn't want to go with you because you're being honest. And for me, both of them came back and I just, left it respectful and like, whatever, here when you need me, I mean it. I'll bring a buyer for you if I see it listed, like do my best. And so I think with that, and then even with the agents that are in our network, I appreciate you, Julie, Dan, Carrie, so much because there's no gatekeeping. And where I was before, I felt like there was such gatekeeping. And here I'm like, we have agents all over the country that are in our network and we're constantly, teaming up on Zoom or meeting up at events and everyone's just helping each other and like doing this without knowing like, you're not expecting anything, right? You're just like genuinely helping and like building up. And I think that's what's leaving your guys' legacy, right? You guys have so much respect in the industry and like I respect you guys so much. And even just like being able to see your real estate business as your full-time gig, a lot of people just see it as a part-time gig when they're first getting into it. I'm like, if you can only imagine yourself when you're surrounded by people and doers and people that have been there, done that, and this is their full-time gig and more, you'd be surprised at what you can pull out of yourself when you have people surrounding yourself that they're in the same mental state. So I really appreciate you and Julie and Dan and Carrie, like in our upline, like it's incredible. And I told everybody, like, wherever you guys are at is where I'm going to be. So all these other people, they keep recruiting us and offering these crazy sign-on bonuses. And I literally say to them, I say, all right, well, when Tim and Julie and Dan and Carrie go, that's when I go. But for now, wherever they go, I go. I swear on the Bible, that's what I say to them. And they're like, what? Like, that doesn't even make sense. And I'm like, it does. Go look them up. And so I mean that from my heart. So thank you for pouring
That
into
means
us.
a lot to us. And by the way, what you're describing is what you've done with Coastal Realm. It's a sense of community. And I don't know about you, Kacie, but I haven't sensed a sense of community like this that we experienced at DXP. The only other experiences were anywhere close was church, honestly.
Same.
Because yeah, there's nothing else like, I mean, neighborhoods aren't like that anymore. Cities aren't like that. It's basically, it's the feeling you get from going to church, assuming you go to church. Yeah, that's what EXP is. And there is a very strange sense of, it comes from the DNA that Glenn built into the company, not just with revenue share, but the fact that we're all equity owners in the company.
Yeah.
We're all basically there to help each other. And a lot of, it even, so, advanced nerd, but it even it transcends outside of whatever revenue share group you're in. It just
Yeah,
doesn't matter. I mean, you could get on the phone right now and call somebody that's in another revenue share group and they're going to help you. We all help each other. And
yeah,
the fact that the company is around 100,000 agents in 24 different countries and we're growing as fast as we are, the fact that that sense of community and wanting to be truly of contribution to other agents, it's growing. It's not shrinking. People
yeah.
are becoming more, they're focusing on really trying to help each other because and this is what I think is another common element of what you were saying
Mhm.
is the thing that drives you is feeling like you're being a purpose, you're helping other people. You said that like 100 times in different
Yeah.
ways, but the sense of making a contribution to other people's lives is the most profound thing. Our highest and truest purpose in this planet is being of service to other people.
Mhm.
And that's the vibe I get from you. And you really truly feel that, not just with your buyers and your sellers, but also the agents that join with you at Coastal Realm.
Yeah.
So are you looking to expand your team now? And how can they get hold of you? And please consider giving your cell phone number.
Yeah, no, I always am expanding. And we do one-on-one consultations with agents on a daily basis. So if anybody is looking to contact me, they can text me or call me. Text is preferable, but it's 443-340-2200. Or of course, if you go on my Instagram, it's Kacie Anderson Official. So you can message me on there, and I'm pretty quick to respond back. But yeah, we are always looking to align with agents that want more, whether they're a new agent, a seasoned agent, that want that community. And it doesn't matter where they are in the world. We're global, so we're open arms to those people that want to be coachable and grow and make more money.
And you're not just attracting people to your group, they're just millennials. You've got people that are all different ages and all different points in their careers and their lives that are wanting to join you at Coastal Realm. So that
Yeah,
just this just goes back to the fact that you're a sheepdog, you're a natural leader.
I have 20 years old, who's a sophomore at FAU is my youngest, and then I have a 65-year-old who's been in the industry for 30 years.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for allowing us to be part of your life. This adventure and this path we're all on is really, truly rewarding. And, congratulations to you, Kacie, for not screwing around at your age, honestly. Just, you're a great mom, you're a great business leader, you're building a great group at EXP. Where you're going to be when you're my age is just extraordinary. It's going to be fun to watch. So I truly appreciate it.
The goal is to be where y'all are at. So thank you for empowering us. I really
Well,
appreciate it.
you'll get there quicker than it took than me because we didn't have EXP. So
Well, good. That's my goal.
you have a fantastic day. Now go out and listen to fSBO.
Yes, I'm going to right now.
All right. See you. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.